Hey guys, and welcome back to the course. In this video, we will finally give our players the power to destroy our vicious enemies. We will do so by creating a golden ray between them that does just that. Alright, so here inside of Unity, I'll start off by right-clicking in my hierarchy and going to Effects, Line. I'll rename this object to Golden Ray. So we just made an empty game object with a line renderer component on it. It is this component that controls how our golden ray will look. So let's go ahead and style it to our likings. First of all, let's modify our second point position to 10, 0, 0 for example, so that we can actually start to see the line. Of course, later on we'll dynamically change these 2 points to be equal to the positions of our 2 players, so that the line will always be placed in between them. Next off, we'll change the thickness of the line to 1 for example. I'll then give my line a nice golden color. You can also give it a gradient color if you would like. I will also set the end cap vertices to 90 so that our line has nice round edges. I will then check this use world space so that our line's positions uses world space coordinates like the positions of our players. Finally, I'll set the order in layer to something like -100 so that the line renders underneath the players. Alright, so we have now finished styling our golden ray. Of course, feel free to style your one as you like, these are just some simple guidelines that you can follow along with. So, like I mentioned before, our next task is to dynamically change the 2 positions of our line to reflect the positions of our players. So I'll jump inside of my player control scripts. In here, I'll make a line renderer variable called rend. Then inside of the start function, I'll set it to find object of type line renderer. This line will basically search our scene for an object with a line renderer component on it, and it will store that component inside of our rend variable. Now inside of the update function, if this player is mine, so if it's the local player, then we will change the line's first position to be equal to our player's position with this line of code here. Else, so if it is not our player, if this isn't the local player, then we'll change the second point on our line renderer to be equal to his position. So to quickly recap, if this player is the one that we're controlling, then we'll set the line's first position to our transformed position. Otherwise, if this isn't the local player, then we're setting the line's second position to be equal to his transformed position. Like this, the line will always have one of its points position equal to the local player's position, and the other point's position equal to the non-local player's position. Alright, so if you now save the script, go back to Unity and build the game, you'll see that our golden ray is beautifully following both of our players around. Great work! Let's now go ahead and add a edge collider 2D component to our golden ray. We'll then set this collider to trigger. This will enable us to detect collisions between the line and our enemies. So our goal is to basically match the collider's positions to be equal to the line renderer's positions at all times. To do so, I'll go to my scripts folder and create a new C# script called Golden Ray. Once it's been created, I'll drag and drop it onto my Golden Ray object. Alright, so in here, I'll make a line renderer variable called rend, as well as a edge collider 2D variable called call. Then inside of the start function, I'll set the rend variable to be equal to the line renderer component attached on this object, and the call variable to be equal to the edge collider 2D component that we just added to our object. We'll also make a public list of vector 2's called line points that will be equal to a new list of vector 2's. Then inside of the update function, we'll set the first element of our line points list to be equal to the first position of our line renderer. And likewise, we'll set the second element of our list to be equal to the second position of our line. Okay, so now that we have stored both positions of our line renderer in the line points list, we can say call.setPoints, and inside of the parentheses, we'll pass our line points list. So this line is basically setting our edge collider 2D's points to be equal to our line renderer's points, and that is exactly what we want. So to quickly recap, we made a vector 2 list called line points, and in every single frame we are modifying the first and second element of this list to be equal to the line renderer's positions. And then once that's been done, we are setting the collider's points to be equal to this list. Alright, so back into the Unity, I'll quickly go ahead and create 2 elements inside of our line points list. Alright, so now that the visuals and the collider of our golden ray are perfectly following our players around, it is now time to actually destroy our enemies when they collide with our golden ray. So I'll start off by coming up here and creating a new tag called golden ray. Once it has been created, I'll add that tag to our golden ray objects. Then let's open up our enemy scripts. I'll first of all import the photon.pun namespace. Then I'll make a void onTriggerEnter to the function that reminds you gets called automatically whenever our enemy collides with another object. In here we'll check if what we collided with has a tag called golden ray. If it does, then we want to go ahead and destroy over the network this enemy. So I'll type photonnetwork.destroy, and inside of the parentheses I'll type this.gameObject, and that's it. So now each time our enemy collides with an object, it will check if that object has a golden ray tag on it, and if it does, then that enemy will get destroyed over the network. With this script saved, we can now go back to Unity and test it all out. So I'll build a version of the game by pressing Ctrl B or Command B if you're on a Mac. And now let's try and touch one of our enemies with our golden ray, and yes, perfect, he's getting destroyed beautifully. Amazing work, guys. The main mechanics of the game are now into place. We have made some huge progress since the start of our course. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.